Diamonds in the rough. NFL Draft Diamonds. Time to shine.
Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds. And today I have with me a diamond in the rough. This diamond actually comes above the border in Saskatchewan. His name is Noah Zerr. He's an offensive lineman. How you doing, buddy?
Good. How about you?
Doing well. Occasionally I will sit down with some guys that play some Canadian ball, get their names out there a little bit more so. Why don't you go ahead and give us a little bit of background, if you don't mind, of you, maybe where you're from and how you got there to your university.
Yeah. My name is Noah Zerr. I grew up in Langeberg, Saskatchewan, home of the Screaming Eagles. Went to LHS for most of my life, Langeberg High School. They kind of have it's like a one building for all grades now. So it's this K-12 school. Really great time. But unfortunately, they never had a football team. So around middle school, I started looking around for high schools I could go to and play football at. And I came across Yorkton Regional. And my parents had some good friendly connections in that school with Coach Jason Boyda and Coach Robbie Sharp and Coach Darcy Zaharia. So through those kind of mutual friendships, we developed this kind of evolving relationship. And I eventually went to high school out in Yorkton. I billeted with my head coach, Jason Boyda, and lived with him all throughout high school, which was a special experience in himself. He's quite the football guru, so it was a lot of fun. But yeah, I really enjoyed my time out there. Kind of learned the art of offensive lineman, as you kind of do. I have another buddy, actually, just a year older than me in the same draft class, and we're both from Yorkton Regional, so they know how to coach him up out there. And his name is Peter Kajushka. He's quite the offensive lineman. I'm sure he's going to have an amazing career in the CFL as well. So it was a really fun time. We won a lot of football games and lost a couple, and then it came time to go looking for a university, and the U of S was always kind of close to my heart. I would say both me and Peter were good, high value kind of recruits coming out of high school. He chose the U of A and I chose the U of S. And I never really looked back. It was something I kind of always had wanted to do. I had some offers coming out of high school, but the U of S is where my dad played, and he wore the number 60 just like I wear the number 60. So I kind of had to come here and continue on the legacy and make sure that I upheld the family name. So yeah, I came here in 2016, started in 2017, and I think I've started a total of somewhere in the 40s.
Okay, that's not bad.
So I've been a long time starter at the U of S. It's been a lot of fun. We went through a couple of different changes with head coaches and stuff like that. Coach Scott Flory was originally one of the guys who helped recruit me. He was the offensive coordinator when he recruited me, and now he's the head coach. So I've always had a really good connection with him, and he's a Hall of Fame CFL offensive lineman. So he's quite the man to learn from, and he's helped me along my way these last 5 years and kind of find my playing style and helped me really kind of develop my craft. So him and Coach Lane Brixa and even Coach Shirk, who was with the previous coaching staff, was big in getting me here and trained me up in his time. And then it's just been me and Brixa and Coach Flory, and it's been a wild ride. We've had a couple really good seasons, and I'm hoping to have some good luck and some good interest to head into the CFL draft.
Sure. Well, hopefully you have. I think, obviously being a sponge, boarding with the coach there. I mean, I'm
Hmm.
assuming that you soaked up a lot of knowledge there. So just kind of getting back to you as a prospect. I mean, again, offensive lineman, really decent size actually, about 6'6", 315 pounds, give or take. So where along that line have you started? I mean, are you on the left side, the right side? What's kind of your fit?
Yeah, so I guess in my first year with U of S, before I actually hit the field, I was the right tackle. And then the next year, we had a veteran go down, and it was like this freak knee injury, tore his ACL, and they needed basically, and the other head tackle had gotten drafted to the CFL, and he had stuck with the team, so they needed two brand new tackles, and me and my line mate Nick Summick kind of were rising up at the same time. So he took the right tackle spot, and I took the left tackle spot, and I started there for um, 3 years, I guess. It would have been 2017, 2018, and 2019. And then through COVID, I was actually moved to right guard because we had had some more changes. And before the next season, that this 2021 season, I was moved to left guard because we were just trying to figure out who we were after these vets had kind of left. So I played left guard for I guess all of training camp, and then just before the season started, they moved me back to left tackle just because we had some roster spots that we needed to kind of mess around. So I've been the utility knife a little bit, and I've had a lot of fun playing each position. But left tackle has definitely kind of been my spot for the last uh, five or so years.
Sure. I just kind of want to get a feel for like, obviously like how you would transition to the next level, but it sounds as if, regardless of where a team would want you, you have the experience to be like a plug and play kind of player. So, um,
Mhm.
so do you feel like that sort of versatility is the best thing you bring to the table as a prospect? I mean, how would you answer that question as to perhaps what you feel separates you?
Yeah, I would say my versatility, both physically and mentally. They ask a lot of you here at the U of S. Coach Flory is he's a high level coach, but he demands high level players. So anything he was going to ask me to do, I was going to do. And I think that is that versatility and that dedication to kind of being able to learn a new craft or learn a new position and kind of master those nuances is definitely something I kind of bring to the table. And I bring this to me, it's this very cerebral approach to football. And I kind of every position I kind of fall into, I really kind of help myself figure it out for me, kind of decode it in my own little language and see what kind of helps me kind of think through these roles, whether it's right guard, or left tackle. What's my step look like here? What's my punch look like here? What's the timing like in this other position? So I think just that knowledge and that versatility, and yeah, I think those are my biggest strengths, probably heading into the next level.
So I just kind of want to ask this as well because I really don't know what your answer would be. But I mean, who would you say is like maybe perhaps your favorite athlete, or maybe a guy that you model yourself after? Whether there be a guy like in the CFL or NFL or what have you.
Mhm.
Like, who's that one guy whose tape you study the most?
One guy I really love to watch is, and one guy I kind of try and emulate is Trent Williams. He's this bigger body. Obviously, kind of everybody knows who Trent Williams is. He's the All Pro left tackle. Currently with the
Niners.
49ers, I guess. Originally with the Redskins, and he's an animal. I just love to watch the way he plays. The size and aggression that he brings to the table, but how he's still so technically sound. He doesn't overextend or overplay the aggression hand. He just does what he does really well and really powerfully. And I think that's something I'm always trying to emulate when I step on the field.
Great. And I also just kind of wanted you to talk me through a little bit about that. Oh, well, just kind of like the normal everyday thing, like as you prep for like a game on any given week. So I mean, you got to get in the film room, you got to get in the weight room, you got to do your business. So I just kind of wanted you to talk for a little bit about how your film study and what you do in there in the weight room has helped you progress into the player that you are today.
Yeah, I guess my film study really would have started in my first year. I had a lot of great veteran players kind of walk me through what's expected here at the U of S. Guys like Evan Johnson and Madeline Riley, who are both currently still in the CFL. Um, and those guys were instrumental in my film development. Um, so just stuff like that. They really kind of taught me how to analyze an opponent and how to find weaknesses and and then I guess from a physical standpoint, Ignite Athletics took over our training program in, I would say, the off season of 2017. And I think in my first off season with them, I gained close to like 40 pounds. And I was already a big guy, but they helped me put on so much muscle and really kind of step into my body and get a little bit more athletic and a little bit more powerful. And they've been huge for me. They're a big kind of elite conditioning firm out here in Saskatoon, and I think they're kind of in a class of their own. They do what they do really well, and they help guys kind of reach that next level all the time. So
Nice.
I would equate my success to both those guys. Yeah.
Gotcha. What would you say is like your favorite lift? Like, do you have like a personal best that you would like to share?
Um, I don't know. I've always been a big guy, so pushing weight has never come naturally to me. I got these long levers, and it gets hard sometimes. But every big man loves the bench, right? So I would say the bench is probably what I do the most, and I do love it. I'm not as crisp as maybe some of my teammates. We got some animals over here in Saskatchewan. I think one of my D tackle buddies, Jonathan Laggett, would probably put up 45 reps at the CFL Combine or something. Like, just he's something else. So I don't quite do that, and I hope to one day. But I think my all-time best would be around that 400 mark these days. So
That's fair. I mean, I think that
it's adequate.
For a lot of guys, like, that's kind of at the, that's the mark that you really want to get to as a guy that plays on the line. So, that's a fair number. I mean, obviously, yeah, I mean, you'd like to do more, but I mean, that's a solid number. And even like the bench reps that they put you through, like for the combine, like those don't always translate to good football. It just means that you're a sound, disciplined, guy there in the weight room. Like, you got your form down, or maybe some shorter arms to be able to put up some more reps. So hey, that's just kind of how it goes, No, I just kind of wanted you to let's now walk through some of your best moments. Maybe perhaps a highlight of you in your career. Is there maybe a game or play that just kind of sticks out in your memory that you want to share with me?
I guess the play, the kind of like, it's like our Husky heritage moment. You know how they used to do the Canadian heritage moments back in the day. Well, this year we had this. It was like this absolute dogfight in our national semifinal against the University of Montreal, and we went into their home field and in their place, and they were the number one ranked team in the country, and I think we were number 4. And I think at halftime it was 4-1, and we were down 3 points. It was just an absolute defensive battle all day long. We kind of got some movement in that third quarter and fourth quarter, and in our last drive, we knew we had probably a minute 15 to go, and our quarterback steps into the huddle and goes, "Well, this is the drive we're going to tell our kids about, fellas." So just one play after another. We get a lucky ball here, a lucky ball there, and a lucky run here, and this breaks there. And this defense that kind of had us hemmed in all day just kind of started to wear down. And I think we got to the 15-yard line with 5 seconds left, and our all-star running back just kind of does what he does, and we put up some good blocks, and I think we were just trying to run it for field position so we could kick a field goal and get it to overtime. But he kind of pulled his own number and went this way, went that way, and walked in with I think like 5 seconds left on the clock, and ended up sealing the game for us. And that's what sent us to the national semifinal. So that would be one of my favorite plays to kind of do. It was an amazing feeling, like it just out of a dream.
Yeah, it's like one of those things like out of a movie almost that you were talking about. It's like, do you go for the tie or do you go for the win? And your boy there at running back just says, I'm gonna pull some magic out of my hat here, and end up going in for a score himself. So gotta love those moments. I mean, I think that for a lot of linemen, it's all about that that grind, just kind of completely just overmatching your opponent, and just the ability to I guess pressure will against theirs and move them in the other direction, and just kind of again, like you said, in moments like that where the defense is doing a stellar job. I mean, you got to deliver there towards the end. So, it's awesome that you guys had that moment. So a couple more questions I got for you. Actually, you participated in the College Gridiron Showcase out in Fort Worth, Texas. They invited you down to that event. So is there any, anything that you want to share about your experience down there? I mean, in performing with that talent?
I guess just a personal viewpoint. I think it helped open my eyes to the level of talent there is to south of the border. Because you hear about these players and those players, and what's Canadian football like compared to American football. And for sure there are those phenoms and those guys that can absolutely change a game down there. And that was kind of my first ever real taste of that. And it was a really amazing experience, and I'd like to think that I held my own against some of the best down there. But I think it also helped me put into perspective the level of talent we have up here in Canada. I don't think we have a lot of low-level players up here, and especially not at the U of S. And it kind of really helped me realize that maybe Div 1 football is very, very good, but maybe it's not so far off from what we're doing up here north of the border.
Yeah, I mean, again, a lot of similarities between the Canadian game in the game in the U.S. But as long as you have, I guess, that raw physical ability that I think a lot of people have. I mean, at the very least, you could hold your own. You could hold your own against some top level guys out there. Were you able to actually sit down and like talk to some scouts? Like, did you get a chance to do any of those interviews while you were there?
I had talked to a couple. There was, I think, 30 out of 32 NFL teams there, and then all 9 CFL teams had shown up. So I talked to mostly the CFL teams. A lot of the Canadian kids didn't really get too much love from those American scouts, but I think we made a good impression. I think we left with a lot of guys kind of knowing our names and knowing what we can do, and hopefully that crew of Canadians that went down there gets some opportunities this next year or next couple of years with the success they had at that event, and hopefully the success we're all going to have on the field this next year in the CFL.
Yeah, I mean, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, you're likely going to get drafted in the CFL, but I mean, heck, I mean, if you, if you shined a little bit, at that event, or even go up to the CFL and do some wonderful things. I mean, you did get a chance to put yourself out there in front of some NFL scouts. So, man, you never know what's going to happen, man. Like, I don't know, a couple years down the line, you may play for like the Detroit Lions or something. I mean, who knows?
Yeah,
but
that'd be the dream.
I mean, you never know what's going to happen. So, I mean, obviously put yourself out there so people can see you and your talent. So, nice to get, I guess, your feedback there about that event. I've heard a lot of great things about that event. Know
Mhm.
those guys. They run a solid event there. So, um, as we continue with our interview, I do want to ask you. Really, my next question is. I want to know who you are outside of this game, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Something interesting, something fun that you want to share. Go for it, man. Hobbies, interests, passions, or anything you want to talk about. Go for
Um, it's hard to say. I have a lot of passions outside of football, but I would say just growing up in the family I did. We're a big family, four kids, and so we all get to spend a lot of time with each other. But my younger brother was always so into musical theater, and I think that came from a love of musical theater from my parents. My parents would always kind of put on dinner theaters at our local a local event center, and my dad would star on them, and my mom would direct them because she had quite the background in musical theater. And my brother was usually the star, but I always had some sort of supporting role. Um, and I always helped my dad kind of putting up the sets and stuff. And then yeah, through that, I think I just became a big movie buff with my brother. I think whenever me and my brother get together, we can probably quote lines for hours. It's like we're our
it. So,
own.
so what's the one movie that you think you quote the most?
um, it's just kind of whatever we start talking about. I
Or
think
favorite, or hit
it's
me with your favorite movie, maybe.
me and my brother must have watched like Nacho Libre. I think probably north of a million times.
Nacho.
Just
Yeah,
yeah,
it's it's a fun movie, man. Like if you don't like
yeah,
Jack Black, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
yeah. Jack Black being Jack Black.
he's a fun guy
Mhm.
for sure to watch. So
Yeah.
a lot of his movies I truly enjoy. So I was gonna ask you also. I mean, I don't know if I were to ever come visit you there up in Saskatchewan. Uh, where might we go? What, if I were to visit you like in your hometown, where would we go? What would we do?
So yeah, I think that's kind of the question everybody has when you start thinking about Saskatchewan. It's a change of lifestyle. I would say you do a lot of the same things, but it's a little bit of it's just a different thing, instead of driving to work and waiting through traffic, it's a half an hour drive through a lonely grid road. So I think if you came to town, um, we would probably go out to the local bar, as we only really have one of them in Langenberg, and maybe we go see a senior men's hockey game, or go to the movie theater. We just got that one kind of rebuilt, and got a new projector there, I think, a few years back. So we're with the times. It's just we don't have all the fun stuff that uh, the big city folk get.
Well, that's just kind of what you get when you go out into the country. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
obviously not a whole lot going on. Just a lot of fields and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
again, like you said, maybe one joint out there to
Mm-hmm.
check out. So um, all right, buddy. As we wrap up our time, I do want to give you one last opportunity to talk to maybe some scouts that might be watching this video. Um, some guys who you may have already talked to, and you just kind of want to give them that one last pitch as to perhaps why they need to take a chance on you, draft you, sign you, and what kind of a player you'd be for their program. So go ahead and hit them with your pitch.
Yeah. I guess my pitch would be, this has been my dream my entire life. And I don't know if I've ever met anybody that works harder than I do. It's been a long road. There hasn't been a lot of opportunities handed to me. I've had to move schools, move towns, change lifestyles to kind of make this football dream happen. So I think if anything, that shows just how committed I am to this. And I think that's what separates me at the end of the day is my commitment. I'm willing to go above and beyond, and really I aspire to prove people wrong, and show people that I can do the things that maybe they don't believe I can. So
Gotcha. And once again, I mean, you're getting a guy with solid size, 6'6", 315, versatility to play almost everywhere on that offensive line. And then, you get a leader on and off the field, a guy who's very dedicated and disciplined in the weight room. So, yeah, I feel like someone's going to give you that opportunity. It's just going to be a matter of who. But hey, man, I wish you best of luck with everything you got going on, your pro day and everything happening. So thanks for this interview, man.
Yeah, thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Once again, I got with me Noah Zerr. He's an offensive lineman out of Saskatchewan. Definitely check him out.